A teenage girl finds her family murdered in a cabin, but the most chilling detail, her younger sister vanishes without a trace. Yeah, today we're talking about the Keddie murder case. The Keddie murders are an unsolved case of 4 homicides that happened in Keddie, California on the evening of April 11, 1981. The victims were son John Stephen Sharp, born November 16, 1965, daughter Tina Louise Sharp, born July 22, 1968, friend John Stephen Sharp, born February 8, 1964, and mother Glenna Susan Sue Sharp, née Davis, born March 29, 1945. The murders happened at Keddie Resort Home, number 28. Sheila, Sue's 14-year-old daughter, discovered the bodies of Wingate, Sue, and John Sharp early on April 12th, after she had been sleeping at a friend's house. Rick and Greg, Sue's 2 younger boys, and their friend Justin Smart were also present in the house, although they were uninjured. Tina was nowhere to be found. Tina was unaccounted for until April 1984, when her skull and multiple additional bones were found at Camp 18, California, in the Butte County neighborhood of Feather Falls. In the years that followed, numerous leads and individuals were investigated, but no charges were brought. The 21st century saw the announcement of several new leads, such as the 2016 discovery of a hammer in a pond and the finding of fresh DNA evidence. On the night of April 11th, a horrifying scene unfolded in the Sharp household. This quaint California home, nestled within the peaceful Keddie Resort, was about to become the setting of a brutal and haunting crime. Glenna Susan Sharp, known to friends as Sue, her son John, daughter Tina, and John's friend Dana Wingate were all present in the house that night. As the evening crept on, a chilling series of events began to unfold. It's a night that would forever scar the history of Keddie, casting a dark shadow over the idyllic resort town. In the dead of night, an unidentified perpetrator or perpetrators infiltrated house number 28. What happened next was nothing short of a nightmare. The victims were bound, their freedom and hope cruelly snatched away. The assailants were merciless, wielding knives and hammers with chilling intent. Sue, John, and Dana were brutally killed, their lives extinguished in their own home. But amongst the horror, one member of the Sharp family was unaccounted for: young Tina. In the immediate aftermath of the discovery of the gruesome scene, Tina was nowhere to be found. Initial thoughts turned to abduction. Had she been taken by the same individuals responsible for the monstrous acts carried out in the Sharp household? The brutal nature of the crime shocked the local community and initiated a long and complex investigation. The tranquility of Keddie was shattered, replaced with a palpable fear and an unsolved mystery that would continue to baffle investigators for years to come. What had begun as an ordinary night had ended in a tragedy that would forever change the lives of those involved and the town of Keddie itself. As the horrific details of the Keddie murders came to light, the investigation into this gruesome crime began. The silence of the quaint town of Keddie was shattered, and a dark cloud of uncertainty loomed. The authorities were grappling with a quadruple homicide, a crime of such brutal nature it sent shockwaves through the community. The victims, Glenna Susan Sharp, her son John, daughter Tina, and John's friend Dana Wingate, were found bound and slain in the most brutal ways imaginable. The crime scene painted a grim picture, with the victims meeting their end through a deadly combination of knives, hammers, and strangulation. In the immediate aftermath, the authorities began their search for the perpetrators. Initial leads and suspects began to surface, including the enigmatic figure of the neighbor, Martin Smart. Questions arose. Could someone living so close to the Sharps have committed such an atrocity? The authorities pursued this lead, interviewing Smart along with various other suspects. Simultaneously, an extensive search was launched for Tina Sharp, who had mysteriously vanished from the scene of the crime. Was she abducted? Had she managed to escape the carnage? Her disappearance added yet another layer of complexity to the case, propelling the investigators into a race against time. Despite their relentless efforts, the investigators confronted a wall of silence and a lack of concrete evidence. The leads were numerous, but none led to a definitive answer. The suspects were many, but none could be conclusively tied to the crime. The clues were scattered, but the puzzle remained incomplete. As days turned into weeks and weeks into months, the hopes of solving the case began to fade. the mystery of the Keddie murders remained as impenetrable as ever, leaving the investigators, the town, and the world at large in a state of unnerving suspense. Despite the exhaustive efforts of the investigators, the case remained unsolved, and the killer or killers remained at large. The shadow of the Keddie murders still hangs over the town, a chilling reminder of a crime that shocked a community, baffled investigators, and continues to intrigue true crime enthusiasts to this day. 3 years later, a grim discovery would add another layer to this already complex case. In the year 1984, a shocking revelation came to light. The remains of Tina, one of the victims from the dreadful night, were found. The discovery of Tina's remains was a significant turning point, shifting the direction of the investigation. Tina's disappearance on the night of the murders had always been a puzzle. It was initially investigated as a possible abduction, but with the discovery of her remains, the perspective of the case changed dramatically. The question that loomed was, how did Tina end up so far from the Keddie resort? This suggested a possibility that the killer or killers may have had more time than initially thought. It raised questions about the motive and the sequence of the events that fateful night. The discovery of Tina's remains, however, did not bring the closure one might expect. Instead, it added more layers to the already complex case. Forensic experts worked tirelessly to extract any possible clues from the remains. Yet despite their best efforts, the case continued to baffle investigators. The leads were numerous, and the suspects were many, but the connection to Tina's tragic fate remained elusive. In the midst of this perplexing investigation, one name kept surfacing: Martin Smart, a neighbor. He was interviewed multiple times, but no concrete evidence could tie him to the crime. The case was like a jigsaw puzzle with too many missing pieces, and every new discovery seemed to complicate the picture rather than clarify it. Tina's discovery only deepened the mystery of the Keddie murders, leaving more questions than answers. Her remains served as a haunting reminder of the brutal crime that had taken place, and the justice that was yet to be served. The Keddie murders, particularly the chapter of Tina's tragic end, continue to intrigue and confound true crime enthusiasts, serving as a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks beneath the surface of seemingly peaceful communities. Decades have passed since the brutal Keddie murders, and yet the case remains an unsolved mystery, leaving a haunting legacy in its wake. The tragedy has left an indelible mark on the community of Keddie, a small town forever associated with this chilling quadruple homicide. The shockwaves of the crime resonated deeply, casting a long and somber shadow over the town. The once vibrant Keddie resort, the site of the horrifying event, was forever changed. The residents, once cheerful and welcoming, became wary and anxious, their sense of security shattered. The close-knit community struggled to come to terms with the horrific event that unfolded within the walls of house number 28. In a desperate attempt to erase the tangible remnants of the crime, the house where the murders took place was demolished in 2004. Yet, this act of erasure could not wipe away the memory of the brutal crimes that took place within its walls. The spot where the house once stood serves as a chilling reminder of the gruesome events, a silent testament to the lives brutally cut short that night. The Keddie murders have also left an indelible mark on the field of criminal investigation. The case has become a study on the complexities of crime solving, a grim reminder of how even with multiple leads and suspects, some cases remain unsolved. The Keddie murders continue to puzzle investigators and true crime enthusiasts alike, the unanswered questions adding to the enigma of the case. While the physical evidence of the crime has been removed, its psychological impact lingers. The Keddie murders have become a part of the town's lore, an unsolved mystery that continues to intrigue and horrify. The story of the Keddie murders has been passed down from generation to generation, a chilling cautionary tale of a peaceful community's darkest hour. The Keddie murders remain a grim reminder of a dark chapter in Keddie's history, a mystery that continues to perplex to this day. Friends, that's for today. If you like our video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content like this.